through the course of these slides, I'm just basically going to show you how to navigate the EMODnet website. Now, please be rest assured, I'm not going to go through how to navigate a web page. It's just to show you where the key areas are for people who are interested in downloading data products or finding out more about the data products or finding out about the thematic lots. You will be able to see where the reports and technical reports are. You'll be able to find out more about the data products. You'll see more information about the thematic assembly groups, find out know how to find information on the web services. I would spend some time on the map viewer. I'm not going to do a live presentation, but I'll show you the key areas in the map viewer and you can work with it later. Introduce the catalog and mention something about the ERDAP server. So hopefully at the end of this presentation, you'll understand how to navigate through EMODnet and get access to data products and find out more about the thematic lots. Now, at the end of this presentation, my colleague Bart van Hoorn is going to give a presentation on the more technical aspects of how we did this and what tools we used, because I know that some people they're quite interested in doing that. But for this slide, I'm just going to be talking about how to work with the website. So the goal, as I said, was to eliminate all the different thematic websites or thematic portals into a unified them into one. So we wanted one EMODnet website, one map viewer, one catalog. We added a new feature, which is the ERDAP server. All the thematic portals are gone. Their web services, their data services still exist. They still are the subject matter experts on the products that they produce, and they produce those products which we consume and display in the central portal. And what we're striving for over time is consistency across all themes in the metadata, the file formats, the APIs for accessing the data products and data, and the web services. Now, this, as Jan Bart mentioned earlier on, there are still imperfections in this, and this will just iterate over time as new technologies come in, or we discover bugs, or we discover things that we need to fix. And I have at the end of this last slide information how you can give us feedback, but we'll come to that shortly. So if you see on the left-hand side of this slide, there is a drop-down menu that shows you the themes that had been 7 different portals. So now they're all collected together on the EMODnet website. And at the front page of the website, you can access things through the top menu, or you can also access at the bottom of the web page either the map viewer, the data products catalog, or the ERDAP server. So we've changed how EMODnet central portal worked. Before it was much more a news feed. Now the data and data products are pushed up to the front so that people are very close to interacting with these data products. Our goal was to have 1 or 2 clicks away from being able to be in a situation where you can start working with the data products and download. Now, just moving on, just show you here what I'm using our colleague, our chemistry thematic portal or thematic lots example here for the thematic web pages. So we worked very hard with the thematic lots to map their web content from their web portals onto the new pages onto the central portal. And what we did then was also work very hard to make sure that each web page for a thematic lot had consistency in layout. So while I'm showing chemistry here, you'll find a similar layout for all the different lots. So they'll all have access to the map viewer and access to product catalog on the top of the page, and they'll all have a menu on the left-hand side of the page. And we worked really hard now to make sure that our colleagues were happy with the content that was in on their section of the website. And this is a constantly iterative process, so that whenever they need updates, these areas will be updated. And I invite you to explore these sections of the website to find out more about the thematic lots. So I'll go on and I'll show you another example of what we did during the mapping of the static web content from each of the lots to the new central portal. We also realized we had to bring across the reports. We had to centralize where the reports, these are the publicly available reports from EMODnet and community. So we created a section of the website where you can go and search and filter down to the reports. And these are reports that are could be update reports, or they could be guidelines, or they could be technical reports, but they're all contained here in this section. So rather than having to move around through thematic lots, you can all get things in one place. This gives you another example here of this mapping. We realized that all the information, or a lot of the information that was contained on all the separate portals, could be brought together in single spaces on the new EMODnet website. So on the left-hand side, we have a new space called Tools and Guidelines. And as you can see, the layout is very similar to the whole website with the navigation bar on the left-hand side. But we gathered here information on technical reports, links to other tools outside of EMODnet, information on things that you would need if you want to interact with the data formats or find out more about how products are built. Very technical focused, but all lots are brought their information here, and we're going to continue expanding on this. So in the future, this would, if you're interested in finding out more about the technical side of how products are produced, this would be your first stop on the website. Now, clearly, there is some of these reports are also in the report section. So this is just us gathering stuff together in one spot. Now, on the right-hand side there, you have information on data and web services. I'm not going to go too much into the data and web services. EMODnet is built on web services, we're spatial data, it's distributed spatial data infrastructure. So all the web services that we use are, the endpoints are listed here in this section, and you can go through this and use this in either other online GIS tools or in mapping services or your desktop GIS systems. So please feel free to go and have a look through this. Now, in line with the EMODnet, with the web services, as part of our quality control package, we also have a dashboard on the uptime of the web services. The link is down there at the bottom of the page, but also it's in the top menu of data and services of the website. You can go to the monitoring tool to see the status of the web services, how reliable they are, what are their uptimes, or if you think that a web service is not working, you can check and see where it is here, if it is active here. So, I mean, one of the things that we're really striving here is to be consistent and provide consistent, reliable services so that people can rely on what we're providing in their workflows. So I'm just going to now move on to the map viewer. Now I say map viewer because this is a data discovery and download service. It's not a geographical information services. For those people who are aware of geographical information systems, you cannot do analysis. This is purely a way to visually find data that you're interested in and then download it. Now I've put up, for those of you who are GIS familiar, all these buttons will be very familiar to you already, but for the rest of you, I'm just going to quickly go through these so that you can understand what they are. So on the left-hand side, on the top, we have expand layers. You click on that button and it will give you a list of all the layers that are available. I'll show this in later slides. Each layer has a legend. So when you display a layer, you can switch on the legend in the map. There's a subset and download button, which we'll explain later. And this allows you to draw a box on the map and subset a data set and download that data set. And then we have map settings, where generic map settings for all the different layers. On the right-hand side, we have a zoom control. Default extent brings you to the default extent of the map. Zoom to layers extent zooms the map to the extent of the map layer that you have displayed. You can toggle the full screen. You can zoom to my location. If you click on that, you'll be asked to permit that by your web browser. That will zoom to your location according to your IP address. You can change the map to a 3D. This is a globe representation. So if you click to change to 3D, some of the layers are available on a globe, and you can interact with the globe. You're also able to measure the distance on the map. You're also able to print whatever you have on the screen to a PDF or a PNG image for use later. Or you can share your map link. So you could have many different layers available here, and then you generate a URL which you can share with other people, and they can then use that to navigate to this website and see what you've been looking at. So as I said earlier, if you're a GIS person, this is very familiar to you, but for non-GIS people, I just thought I would quickly go over this to help you out in understanding. So diving straight in, I'm going to have a look here at EMODnet bathymetry. So as I mentioned, these slides I'm presenting here are to give you an overview of how to use the map viewer to access data products, but I'm not going to do every single thematic group. I'm only going to do the difference, what's different between thematic groups. We've tried to have a very unified way to access the data products and download the products across the thematic groups, but there are some variations between them. So I'm presenting here these variations, and that when you come to use the website, should be able to figure out which one is the one you need to use. So for EMODnet bathymetry here, on the left-hand side, you can see how I've opened up EMODnet bathymetry layer. That's by clicking on the layers button at the top. And then you can see in the third button down is the download, subset and download button. And in the list of layers, I've switched on the mean depth and multicolored no land. And so that you're seeing now is off the coast of Ireland. And you are looking at the digital terrain model that we've produced for based on the data coming out of the surveys coming out of Ireland. And on the right-hand side, you can see a button that says click here. Now I've already clicked on that button and I've drawn a box on the screen. And then I'm given the option to download what's in that box. And I've chosen a format called NetCDF. So what would happen then is I would click on the download button on the right-hand side of the screen, and the contents of that box will be downloaded to my computer, and I can work on that to my own time later. Now, just on a heads up on this, for EMODnet bathymetry, it's a very large file, and the technologies that we use here restrict you to a 2 GB file size for downloading NetCDF files. So if you hit that barrier, you'll get a message telling you that you've hit that barrier, and you just need to reduce the size of your box. You can actually download the full NetCDF of the total European digital terrain model in a separate tool, but I'll mention that later. And also, what we're doing here, we took these. If you've used EMODnet bathymetry before, you would remember that EMODnet bathymetry had 64 tiles, separate tiles that you would download individually. We took those tiles and we unified them into one single tile for the whole European Sea area. And what you're seeing here is a tool that allows you to subset that tile. Now, we also have the 64 tiles system that existed in the old EMODnet bathymetry portal. This is at the request of our colleagues in EMODnet bathymetry, because they had a lot of people using this system. So in this case, you would just switch on the tile, the DTM tiles layer on the left-hand side there, you can see it, and it will impose a grid on the map, and then you would click on the grid and it will give you an option to download that tile in a number of different formats, which you can see in that window on the bottom right-hand side. So you have a number of different ways to accessing this data product, and that is true across many of the different data products across the thematic areas. So I'm going to show you a few more options here so that you can get an insight on this. This is EMODnet biology. I'm going to spend some time talking about what's going on here because it looks very busy, but there's actually quite a few things happening here to help you drill down to what it is you're looking for. So first of all, what I've done is switched on the database of observations in marine observations. And on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, sorry, I have switched on the legend that gives you an indication of the occurrences of animals at sea or species at sea. So what I'm interested here is drilling down to a particular species. You know, so when you open up a layer on the right-hand side on the map viewer, you will see on the right-hand side with some of them, there's a little filter icon. And when you a layer with a filter icon, when you display it, you can switch on a filter function, which is you see is the box in the middle of the screen at the bottom. So in this filter layers function, I typed in the taxon name for the orca, the killer whale, and that filters the data set to just show orca information for Europe. So I'm also able to click on the individual dots to see how much what the record count for orcas at that spot are, according to the data set. So in the small box, in the box to the right there, you see that there was in the square that I had clicked on, there was a record count of 1. But I can also download a subset of the greater data sets, which I did in the same way I had done with the bathymetry DTM. I clicked the download button on the left, and then I went over to the right and I clicked on the yellow click here button, and I drew a box on the screen, and that gave me the option to download a CSV. So when you download that CSV to your computer, you can open it up in Excel, and it will give you much more information than what you get from just clicking on the map. So in that CSV, it will give you the in all the observations in that area of that box that I've drawn, plus the dates of the observations and other things like who made the observations, etc. So what you see on the map when you click on things is just a sort of a taster to what you can get when you go into the data products and download them themselves. And it's there to help you make the decisions about what data products you need to use or that you're interested in. So on a third way of accessing data products is a direct download.